There is a moment on a black mountain in the jungle when a rescue helicopter holds its hover and waits. Below it, in the triple canopy, a badly hurt pilot has a radio. The crew wants to lower a man down to reach him. And the pilot on the ground tells them no, he will not have someone lowered into an enemy-held ridge to die for him. He says he will crawl to them himself. They hold that hover for 33 minutes. They never see him. The rescue is called off, and he is listed as missing. And here is the thing almost no one could have believed that night. He was not captured. Not that night, and not for weeks after. Broken, unable to walk, with no food and almost no water. He would survive alone in that jungle for 46 days. His name was Lance Sijan. He was the first graduate of the United States Air Force Academy ever to receive the Medal of Honor. This is how he earned it. He was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on the 13th of April, 1942. His father, Sylvester, was the son of Serbian immigrants, and he ran a restaurant. His mother, Jane, was of Irish descent. In the family and in the Serbian Orthodox community, the boy was also known by a Serbian name, Lazar. He grew up strong and quick, a good student and a real athlete, the kind of young man a working family points to with quiet pride. He graduated from Bayview High School in 1960, went to the Naval Academy Preparatory School in Maryland, and from there earned an appointment to the Young Air Force Academy in Colorado. He played football for 3 years. In 1965, he graduated with a degree in the humanities and pinned on the gold bars of a second lieutenant. Then came pilot training and an assignment to the 480th Tactical Fighter Squadron at Da Nang Air Base in South Vietnam. He flew the F-4C Phantom, a 20-ton, 2-seat fighter bomber, loud and fast and heavy with ordnance. By the autumn of 1967, the mission over that part of the war was interdiction. Night after night, American crews went after the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the hidden web of roads and fords that carried the enemy's supplies south. In August, Sijan earned the Distinguished Flying Cross. He was not a green pilot. He was experienced, and he was good. On the night of the 9th of November, 1967, he flew another night mission over the trail. He was in the back seat. In the front seat was his squadron commander, Lieutenant Colonel John Armstrong. Their target was a crossing on the trail called Ban Lo Boi Ford. It was a mission like the ones before it, right up until the moment it was not. Just before 9 o'clock, Armstrong rolled the Phantom in on the target and released the bombs. Almost in the same instant, the aircraft was swallowed by fire. The best understanding is that the ordnance detonated too early, less than 50 feet from the plane. The Phantom climbed in a burning arc to about 10,000 feet, then rolled over and fell toward the jungle. From the air, no one saw parachutes. Both men ejected. Lieutenant Colonel Armstrong did not survive, and he was never found. Sijan came down through the triple canopy and onto hard, rocky ground. The landing tore him apart. He had a fractured skull. His right hand was mangled. His left leg was broken so badly the bone had come through. He was cut deeply across much of his body. He had no food, almost no water, and no survival gear that could change any of it. And he could not walk. What he did have was a radio and a rescue force trying to reach him. 2 days later, a helicopter reached him and held its hover over the canopy for about 33 minutes. They wanted to lower a pararescue man. Sijan told them not to. He knew there were enemy soldiers close, and he would not have another man come down into that and die for him. He said he would get to the penetrator on his own. He could not do it. They could not see him. The light was failing and the danger was rising, and at last the rescue was suspended. 2 men were listed as missing. One was already gone. The other was lying in the jungle at the start of the hardest 46 days any airman has ever been asked to endure. He could not stand, so he did not stand. He moved by lying on his back and pushing with his one good leg, inch by inch along the jungle floor. He did this for 6 weeks, alone, with a shattered leg and a fractured skull and no food. Picture the discipline in that. Not one desperate burst of courage, but the choice to keep going, made again and again, thousands of times in the dark, with no one watching and no promise that anyone was coming. On Christmas Day of 1967, near the Ban Karai Pass, North Vietnamese soldiers found him. He was emaciated at the end of his body's strength. His body was nearly spent. His will was not. He was captured now, starving and broken. And he was still not finished. At a holding point, he waited until only one soldier was left to guard him. He drew the man close, overpowered him, tied the guard's shirt around his swollen leg, took his weapon, and crawled off into the jungle. They caught him again after a few hours. But hold on to what that means. In the condition he was in, he still found a way to fight and to try to get free. He was taken to a compound at Vinh, and there, for the first time in weeks, he was not alone. 2 other American prisoners were put with him, Major Bob Craner and Captain Guy Gruters. In his clear moments, Sijan told them what he had done. The crash, the injuries, the long crawl, they would remember every word, and that is the only reason we can tell you any of this. At Vinh, he was interrogated and tortured. He was a starved, wounded man who could barely move, and still he gave his captors nothing. Then they loaded him onto an open truck for the trip to Hanoi, 3 nights in the cold monsoon rain. They brought him to Hoa Lo Prison, the place the prisoners called the Hanoi Hilton. He had pneumonia now, and he was close to death. And even there, in that cell, he asked his cellmates to prop him up so he could exercise his arms. He was getting ready, he told them, to escape. On the 18th of January, 1968, they took him out of the cell. His friends did not see him again. Four days later, on the 22nd of January, Lance Sijan died. He was 25 years old. For 7 years, his country did not know the whole of it. He was missing. Then, in 1974, his remains came home, and the 2 men who had shared that cell, Craner and Gruters, released when the prisoners came home in 1973, told the Air Force what they had seen. Craner recommended him for the Medal of Honor. Gruters stood behind him. On the 4th of March, 1976, in the East Room of the White House, President Gerald Ford placed the Medal of Honor in the hands of Sylvester and Jane Sijan, the restaurant owner and his wife from Milwaukee, whose boy had become the first graduate of the Air Force Academy to receive it. His name did not fade. There is a hall at the Air Force Academy that carries it, where cadets still learn his story as part of becoming officers. There's an award given across the Air Force for the leadership he showed. His name is cut into the black granite of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, Panel 29 East, Line 62. Lance Sijan did not choose the war he was sent to, or the mountain he fell on, or the cell where his life ended. Almost none of us choose those things. What he chose, across 46 days in the jungle and through weeks of captivity, was how he would meet them. He chose not to quit. He chose not to break. And at the very end, He chose to keep getting ready to fight. That is the whole of it. And it is more than enough.